Hello, my dear students. This is Mr. Hayashi introducing Universal History for second grade. This year we're going to be working together history and several topics of Universal History, not only Mexican. We're not going to work a lot with Mexican, but we're going to go through Universal History from the beginning of history itself. So our book, this is our book, got it right here. World history. It's a pretty decent book, pretty fat too. Um, take care of it, first of all. Take care of it because I'm pretty sure it wasn't that easy to get for your parents. It's not a book that you will forget about it once you're done with second grade. It's a book that in my opinion, I think it's a book that you should have in your library at home or somewhere at home because the quality of it is pretty good. Um, the only disadvantage that I see of it is that it's like a lot, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go through the whole content of the book. Okay, but it's a pretty good book. Um, regarding history, most of my students say, some of my students might say the following things. For example, they might say that history is extremely boring, and I don't blame them. Probably, I don't think they have had the chance of really understanding history. Other students might say, why care about the past? Why should we study something that it's already happened and it's gone? And the other thing that they say is like I don't need to memorize a whole bunch of dates, names, or places. So let me try to answer those comments that I usually hear. Well, first of all, if you think history is boring, I don't think you really understand what is history itself. Um, I would recommend you to give it a chance, give history a chance. Because if you really think that it's something that it's boring that you have to do, I don't think for those people who say that, I don't think they really understand or haven't had the chance to um, work with history. So hopefully during this year, I'm going to change your mind. Um, now, if you don't, for those who say that, why care about the past? Well, let me tell you something. If you don't care about the past, then how can you understand your present? How can you understand who you are? And also, how can you change your future? Prevent stuff. Because history is not only in the past, history will help you to understand your present and most of the times foresee the future, believe it or not. So that is history. And if you think that you don't need to memorize a whole bunch of dates, names, and places, well, you're right. History is much more than just memorizing stuff. Actually, at least in my class, you're not gonna have to memorize names, dates, and places. In my experience, I remember when I was a teenager, that was pretty much the thing that made me hate history because I had to before an exam, a history exam, I would have to study a whole bunch of dates, names, and places that I couldn't just remember, or that I remember just to write the exam, and the day after I would just forget about everything that I had studied. Um, history is much more than that. It's about understanding uh, the connection between the past and the present. It's just a beautiful thing. Again, uh, I would really like you to give me the chance to make you fall in love with history. Um, and I wanna ask you some questions just to probably convince you a little bit more that history is a cool thing. Um, well, take a look at this card. Probably you don't even know what brand of car it is. Uh, but if you don't understand these kind of pictures, then it's going to be like really hard for you to understand the reality, not only of historical characters, but also from your own family. How can you understand like the childhood and I don't know, and the memories of your parents, right? Or how about this one? You get a pizza. Are all of the ingredients here are Italian? If you think that pizzas are 100% Italian, you might reconsider it. Uh, what about this one? Yeah, I know most of you might relate this to Guardians of the Galaxy, I think is the name of the movie. Um, but in my own perspective, most of the real, not real, worth, the music worth listening was recorded in these tapes. I'm not saying that today there is not good music, but probably I'm saying this because I'm kind of old, I guess. But or if you don't understand the connection between these things and a pencil, then history is gonna tell you the answer probably. What about and these ones? You probably don't even know what their names are. There used to be like floppy disks. Today you probably the like the equivalent of this thing would be a flash memory or USB memory. Um, just in case you didn't know what these things were. Oh, how about this one? I know that most of you know what this thing is, but one thing is knowing what this thing is, and another big difference is have you done a homework on this? That's a huge difference, and that you should be lucky that you don't. Well, you should know that you're lucky to be a student nowadays and not having to use one of these things because it was painful, believe me. Um, what about this one? We got this Atari. I'm pretty sure very few of you have used one of these because it was like the beginning of the video game history. And I had one at home. Uh, again, um, but this is a Walkman. Um, if well, became popular probably because you watched 13 Reasons Why. Yeah, by the way, you should not be watching those things if you are under 12, I think. Um, but anyway, this is a Walkman, um, and there was like serious cool stuff. Um, this is a little bit silly, but I mean, if you don't know what this is, you will think the only way to find out what's happening in the world is on the screen. Yeah, but personally, I don't buy newspapers. I think, well, we have internet, so why bother buy one of those? These ones were good, and before these one was another format that was called beta. Your parents might know about it or should know about it. Um, and then for some reason, this is the I think in the history that I know is the in terms of technology, it's the first time that a format, a newest format, grows in size from the previous one. Usually things you go and become smaller. Oh no, thinking about cell phones, pretty much happened the same thing. Um, but yeah, it was really funny because beta format was smaller, and then we got the VHS, which was way bigger. Well, we're going to be working a lot during our sessions. What? No, yes, a lot. We have three sessions, unfortunately, a week. I wish we could have more. So I hope you try to. I hope you give history a chance. Okay, just in case that you don't believe that it's something worth studying. And if you do, if you're still thinking about that, Well, just a few comments more, a few questions. If you think that history is not important, then how could you really answer the question, who am I? Because if you really want to understand who you are, you have to look in history, plus meditation and other stuff. But history will help you a lot. Why do you speak Spanish? Has to do with history. Why are you Catholic? Has to do with history. Why might you consider European countries superior? History. Why do you live in Cozumel? Yeah, history, believe it or not. Why? So, I hope that during the next few months, 10 months exactly, by the end of the term, you have a better perspective of what history is and how to think um, in a historical context. That will be extremely important for you. But nothing more. Thank you. And that's it. That's, my dear student, that is why history is important. I hope we have a great time during this whole year.